DmC, Devil May Cry.
Done.
You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so technically, I haven't played this much this week, but I smashed a review. It's going to be in Play magazine, and you can check that out. I smashed a review a few weeks ago, so I played it for so long that it would... whatever, doesn't matter. What have I wrote in my notes? The game is electric. The combat is amazing. The pace is incredible. But the thing that excites me most about this Ninja Theory reboot of the Devil May Cry series is that basically there are no fucking rules. They established this world almost immediately called Limbo, which is like an alternative version of Earth, basically, where the demons realm, and that just allows them to do whatever the fuck they want. And that reminds me that video game designers are not really constrained by anything apart from the technology they're dealing with, but artistically they're constrained by nothing. You know, way less constraints than a movie director, for example, especially in the pre-CG age. And it does that by creating worlds that just, you know, pull themselves apart and put themselves back together in a completely different order by worlds where you can run on the ceiling or fucking crazy shit. I don't want to spoil too much of it. None of this would matter if the fundamental DmC combat wasn't as good as it is, and it is fantastic, in my opinion, and I'm not the hardcore Devil May Cry player, so I will admit that if you're the type of guy that's double S ranked all of the 4 mainline games or whatever, and you know the intricacies of those systems,
what took you so long?
You know, I'm not going to argue with you because your level of understanding is higher than mine. But to the above layman, the guy that's played all of the games to death, is of a decent standard. This is up there, if not better than the other ones, in my opinion. People who are worried about enslaved combat, not translating, Ninja Theory not being good at combat, whatever. This is the game that Ninja Theory was born to make. They've been trying to rip off Devil May Cry effectively with their previous 2 games in terms of the combat, especially with Heavenly Sword. They don't have to anymore. They don't have to like do it, but a bit differently. They're just able to do what they want, but add their own flair on top of it. The game gets me pumped. I was so blown away by it, to be honest, dude. I was blown away by DmC. I don't know what you think. I'm excited to hear.
Well, I mean, first of all, whenever there's any kind of internet furore, any kind of discussion that people are getting angry about, I stay the fuck away from it. But people are angry about this. What is this whole thing about DmC? Why are people pissed off?
They're furious, and I've been into over the last couple of days. I've been into a few comment threads and forum threads just to check it out. They're furious about the fact that he's a differently designed Dante. You know, he doesn't have the white hair. He's younger. He's more of a Western design, even though Dante was a white male.
Yeah.
He was of a Japanese design ethos. Because they've not played the game, and you know, this is what these people are like sometimes. They've completely failed to understand that A, that doesn't matter, and B, what they've actually done is, in my opinion, better than what's come before it anyway. It's an origin story, basically. The game's an origin story. It's classic superhero style. You know, the script supervised by Alex Garland, and you know, the guy's had some misses in his career, but he's pretty fucking good, and that's why the pace is so good. The acting is of a very high standard. The cutscenes are fantastic, and the whole thing's just put together with a real verve, which Ninja Theory have been brilliant at in their previous 2 games as well. And I think I tweeted this the other day. I bet 3/4 of the people who are bitching and going fuck Ninja Theory and all this stuff about the changes they've made to their precious DmC with the same idiots that were saying, oh, Enslaved, what a tragedy that it didn't sell, you know, we need more games like this. I bet they're the same fucking people. So people to be ignored and pushed to the side until they learn to grow up a little bit. Hopefully it won't affect the game sales, but I want to know what you think of the game.
Well, where to begin? I don't know. Well, first of all, with regards to all that, I thought people were upset from the whispers that I heard. I thought they were upset because they'd made Dante too emo, and that he was like, they didn't like the fact that he was young and
yes,
yeah, and that's really weird because most of the people that are dissing him are young, and they're absolute dicks. So what would they be like if they were this fucking this basically god? They'd be a bit of a dick as well. And actually, that's something I think the game gets very right, because Dante's an incredibly likable, despite being a right. I mean, he's a dickhead. Yeah. He is a dick, and he's got a fondness for the worst jokes ever. I mean, I love the game for this. The gags are terrible. Bad puns, bad. I mean, just bad jokes. There's one boss battle where the final 30 seconds of it are like just non-stop terrible jokes, and I love that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I played the demo, I thought it was incredible, and this lives up to it and then some, and I'm with you. I think the one game, despite the amount of games that have ripped off Devil May Cry, this felt like the original. It felt like a natural sequel to the original, but I think I prefer it. It's and again, like you were saying, it just the lack of restrictions. You know, there was a time, especially during the PS2 era, where game developers didn't care. They could do anything, and they were intent to do anything. And over recent years, because of the success of sort of slightly more conservative games, you've seen less of that. Yeah. And there's parts of this. Well, I mean, there's genuinely grotesque stuff in this. Like properly, like if you saw it in any other medium, if you saw a painting, if you saw it in a film, you'd be like, wow. A demented mind came up with that, but fair play to them, it looks incredible. But also, just visually, it's as out there during certain bits as stuff like Shadows of the Damned, El Shaddai, completely incredible to look at. But that, all that stuff would be for nothing if the combat wasn't incredible, and it is absolutely incredible. And it's just, I wouldn't say. I probably wouldn't recommend this to someone who's not a bit of a hardcore gamer, because the amount of buttons that you are forced to use and the different combinations of buttons that you're forced to use it's often, I can't compare it to anything, because every single button on the pad in conjunction with another you do at some point.
Yes, you do, and totally agree with you. It sets up the difficulties nicely as well, because the hard mode is called Nephilim, but it does that thing which Halo does, which tells you this is the way we want you to play the game, basically. So, and it's a really nicely pitched difficulty level. I think it's hard, but not to the point of being stupid. It's not unfair. It's just it's the test that it should be. I actually did a large amount of the review on normal mode, because I didn't actually read that. I just, that's what you do when you review a game. You jump into normal mode, which is also a fine difficulty level. It's not hard at all, but it's still very enjoyable. If I couldn't by any stretch of the imagination just push buttons and win. I still had to play properly. But playing again on Nephilim, and I actually played again a large chunk of it on the incredibly difficult Son of Sparta mode, which is fucking amazing. The replay values through the fucking roof once you've got all the unlocks and all the different weapons and all the different combos and stuff like that. And the game actually encourages you to replay it, because there's loads of areas you can't get to first time through as well.
That's what I really like about it, because if you are buying this just to play it through once, it's significant. It's like 10-12 hours, I reckon, around about, and it's non-stop. There's no dead weight in there at all. No, that's it. The thing about it doesn't take you around the houses. The problem with most action games nowadays is that their artists build an environment, so they have to. You end up getting into 10, 15 battles in it just because they need to it just doesn't stop moving. Yeah. And also, if you think that you can grind your way to an A or an S or a double S rank in one battle, you have to be very careful, because the battles are actually quite short. So if you get knocked once and you lose your score, you probably won't get it back again. But then you're on to the next one, and it does not stop moving. It's relentless. That's one thing I really admired about it, because I've played a lot of games recently, even very good ones, where you just think, oh, come on. I mean, but the way that this is pitched, you're constantly progressing through the narrative, through the environment. It's constantly different, and it doesn't stop moving. But like you say, it's made to be played more than once.
Yes. And on a slight tangent, but on something you just said, Ninja Theory, I kind of think like a benchmark level when it comes to the smoothness between cutscene and action for editing, which so many games fuck up. Like, you'll have a great cutscene, and then it'll cut to the action, and you'll have the guy will just, all his animation will disappear, and he'll just turn into a static thing, and you're like, dude, I'm out. Whereas that would never happen in this game. They're committed to making it seamless. And then on top of all that, the music is just fucking superb. The first tune that hits when the first fight is just like this pounding, it's by Noisia, and it's just this pounding like bass, basically. it's being like torn. I played it super loud on good headphones, just like tearing through your head as you play. It just gets you pumped up. They know how to use music, superb. And I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody who's not played it. That'd be terrible. But have you got to the club level?
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to single out moments that I thought. I mean, I did finish it just about 2 hours ago.
Right.
I'd like to single moments out, but I don't think I can. There are. The nightclub bit was great. The bit sort of that was part of the TV where you were. I mean, incredible. And those are things that I haven't seen in a while. There are. I mean, the last time I'd say I've seen a game as just completely brazenly wacky as this was probably Shadows of the Damned, I think, or El Shaddai, whichever came most recently. But yeah, it feels completely free of all the shackles that It's I think, pound for pound, it's the best game that Capcom have made since the first Street Fighter 4. I think extraordinarily highly of it, and that's why this whole thing about the controversy doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, in terms of singling out moments, I don't think. I mean, the boss battle with the lead bad guy's girlfriend, there were bits of that where I was like, that's disgusting. And I don't think that ever. I watch all sorts of the worst, sleaziest trash horror movies you can think, and I never sit back and go, that's really grim. But that's to their credit. I think that's quite something, and the fact that they felt the ability to do something like was really impressive. But the combat is just beautiful, and the fact that it does feel like Devil May Cry. There's slight things that they've kept. There's always that slightly rigid double jump that Dante always had, where the second jump was always you felt kind of restricted by that. That's there. But I absolutely adore it. I don't know what more to say about it, because I just think if you have ever had any kind of affection for a game like this or an earlier Devil May Cry game, it's just tremendous. And the more I think about it, the more I think, I'm going to play through it again at least once more, at least. And is it the best Devil May Cry ever? Probably. I think it probably is.
I think it probably is, because it gets rid of a lot of the. When you think back at the old Devil May Cries, you have all these amazing memories of the fights, but there's a lot of shit in those games. You're kind of wandering around looking for things.
Yeah, exactly. All of that's cut. That's what I love. It just doesn't stop moving. That's why. Yeah,
there's platformy bits in this one, but they're done really, really well using the same stuff that you use in combat. They're never awkward or annoying. They always have something really cool to look at, or a cool destination to get to, or something cool's happening in a story. I could rave about it all day. Capcom needed this as well, because they had a rough last year, and I hope that the idiots don't kill it. I don't think they will. I think the brand is strong enough, and I think the reviews will be so good that it will do very well, especially with nothing else out and people excited about a new game come New Year. But man, you honestly, going into the NeoGAF thread, and there were some comments on a chap's article on VG 24/7. It's just like, damn, man, what are these? Just go and play football or something, or go and do something worthwhile and make yourself feel better. You can't be happy. You're not a happy person being like that. There's no good here.
I mean, that's a mystery. The fact that I've seen that this game's getting shit. I mean, even after the demo, which I played and I thought, this can't fail. Two of my friends are buying. They've never played Devil May Cry before. They're going to buy the game off the strength of the demo, and the fact that you still see all this negativity, and it's based around stuff that partially I don't understand, but I thought it was to do with the fact that he'd been a bit. But I love that he is a dickhead. But then again, you would be a dickhead if you were that guy.
Yeah.
But going back briefly to what you said about music, the game that I used to have a GameCube and an Xbox, and I always I had PlayStation 2 sort of on and off, but the one thing that made me get one was the first battle you get into in the first Devil May Cry, where the music surges. I mean, I'm sure the music, listen to it now, is terrible, but I was just like, wow, this is like music from a scene in a movie, not music from a scene in a game. It felt like something completely new, and that's what led me to buy a PlayStation. And the sequels kind of it was there, but it was kind of seemed like it wasn't quite a part of the package the way it was in the first one. And here, the music does play such a big part, and it's exciting, and it's just, I mean, I don't know why I chipped in again, because I just think it's a tremendous piece of work. And like I said, if you have any interest in this genre at all, you have to try it because it's a remarkable game. And, you know, well done. They've absolutely smashed it.
Well done indeed. Get it in, seriously. Get it in.
Really, do that.
So yeah, thanks very much for watching. It would be a great help if you could just hit the like button, subscribe. We're going to have a ton of content of this standard coming out over the next few weeks and ongoing. And of course, stick a comment down there, maybe even share it. That would be sweet. Thanks very much, guys.